Hey, welcome, Tim Forrest Consulting. Hey, I'm excited to share with you 15 ideas and insights into the food industry, specifically into supermarkets, items that are in supermarkets that my friend Ed asked me about. I thought it might be something you may be interested in as well. So, Ed is the founder of Ambrose Landon Consulting out of Boston, Massachusetts, and he publishes a newsletter weblog every Wednesday. He had 15 questions, just puzzles about the food industry and about supermarkets that he just didn't understand. I ended up answering him, and I thought you might be interested in some of his questions as well. One of the areas he was asking about is the produce section. He was curious why you always bump into produce, why that's the first thing in the store. And it's real simple. It's one of the most profitable departments in the entire store. It also primes you for the rest of the store. The colors and everything being the greens and the different fruit and produce items, they're so beautiful that they activate you and they prepare you to spend more in the store. Also, they want you to spend most in the produce area because it's so profitable for them. There's three things he didn't ask about. He didn't ask about sprinklers, the lighting, and also the square footage. Square footage is because it's such a large area. They've got giant displays because they do so well with the product. They make so much money there. The lighting is the same thing. They highlight the lighting to help sell these items, and you shop with your eyes, and that you see the product and you buy more. Also, the sprinkler system in there, it's really simple. The one, they want to keep it fresher, but guess what? Wetter produce weighs more when you check out. And he was curious about the hamburger section, how it's spreading out. With recent pricing, there's a lot more room for hamburgers, so there's a lot more opportunity to spread out. He was curious about organic bananas, and he asked about bananas. Bananas are one of the most profitable. As far as an item in the store, not only are they profitable, but they turn over at a greater rate. It's one of the highest selling item in a supermarket. Organic bananas, interesting enough, there's a lot going on. There's been controversies around organic versus standard. The nutritional statement on anything is the same, and it's a matter of what shows up there. At Tim Forrest Consulting, we know you're the kind of person who wants to grow their food business and serve more and larger customers, reaching more shoppers. You know that in order to grow your market share, revenue, and volume, you're going to need insight, systems, and processes to take you there. Tim Forrest Consulting. Another thing that he asked about was hummus. And if you don't speak Arabic, hummus is actually Arabic for chickpeas. And so hummus is simply chickpea and olive oil and some different seasoning, salt, etc. in there. There's been a growth now. You've got carrot hummus and other products. But hummus is also another item. It's so profitable. All they do is you just take chickpeas, grind them up basically, and serve them, and that as a paste, and that's what hummus is. And I love it. I love it with crackers and chips. It's just something really, really wonderful. What is it with Thomas English muffins? Why are they so expensive compared to anything else? And what is the deal with them? They've been around over 100 years. It's a proprietary process. So the equipment they use to mix the Thomas muffins, the dough and the way they prepare it, along with how they cook it, the temperature, the times, and everything, it creates what they exclusively have is what they call the crooks and nannies in that actual bread. So if you look at it, it's much different from other English muffins. Also, because of that, it tastes different. Next question was regarding juice. How do you add pulp to juice, or do you take it out to be how does that work? And well, if you think about juice, when you buy orange juice, all of us, when we buy orange juice or any juice in the store, it is manufactured, or it is actually, it's not an actual juice like what we think about. It's an actual manufactured or mixed product. If you were to juice an orange and take that, there would be pulp in there, but it would separate and float to the top. So what they do is they mix and manufacture the juice products that we have, and then add the amount of pulp back to it of what they think is appropriate to market and sell. And so that's the way that works. He was curious about cashews. Why are cashews so expensive? So number one, it's one of the most popular items in the nut department. That creates tremendous demand. They can only grow in certain parts of the world. So this limited growing regions, so that makes it difficult. You can't just grow it anywhere. And one of the most important pieces to understanding why it's so expensive is the amount of handwork. So cashews grow in trees, unlike peanuts. So peanuts can grow in the ground. We can use tractors, and almost all of it is automated with no handwork. Whereas cashews, so much of processing, harvesting, and bagging. We also have to deal with the shipping. And so majority of the cashews that we enjoy in this country come from overseas. So unlike peanuts that could be trucked, these have to be shipped in from around the world. One of the most price of Dunkin' Donuts coffee in his grocery store there in Boston. You may or may not know that Dunkin' Donuts, their first location was in Quincy, Massachusetts, and just outside of downtown Boston. And so the area that's considered home for Dunkin' Donuts. He lives in the home of Dunkin' Donuts, and so he was asking about promotions at retail, why his supermarket doesn't have it on sale. The way Dunkin' Donuts, there's a lot of different issues on this as far as understanding that. But the first one is it's on sale every day compared to what you'd pay for. The other piece of that is you have to understand Dunkin' Donuts is licensed to Smucker's in order to sell that as a coffee in the store. So you've got issues with the fact that everyone wants it. If you put it on a big sale in the Boston market, there'll be no inventory. Everyone will buy it right up. But also, you don't have to sell. You don't really have to put much promotion on it for it to sell in the supermarkets in the Boston market where Ed is located, and so it's on sale every day. And then, not to mention, there's not really a lot of money available for sales because you've got so much invested in the licensee, who Smucker's is actually paying Dunkin' Donuts to license that brand and sell coffee, and that really kind of walks you through there. Now, if you go to other parts of the country, I haven't checked, but I'm sure in California, where Dunkin' Donuts is a newer entrant to the market, there's probably more aggressive promotions and things happening there. He was also, because of the coffee, he was curious about Keurig, and it's the same thing. The demand's so high for that product, it's going to do well. If he were buying a no-name, no-brand product in a no-name and not a Keurig cup, I'm sure it'd be less expensive. I was thinking about pulling the numbers and showing it to him. Maybe if you're watching this, you could give me some tips on that. I'm sure non-branded, non-Keurig cups are less expensive in other markets, other channels. He was curious about ice cream as well. I'm very familiar with ice cream. Ice cream melts at 31 degrees. And so that water melts, and water freezes at 32, melts at 32. And so ice cream is actually below that. Also, ice cream is mostly air. And so that's one of the most important pieces to what gives ice cream its fluffy texture, is the secret or the science of having the air actually float within the cream. And it makes this really, when frozen, makes this wonderful, wonderful consistency. And so and I was sharing with him some of the tips. You want to buy ice cream last. You want to get it before you go home. Also, if there's been a big sale and that door has been open and closed on the freezer cabinet all day long, you want to feel the ice cream. You do not necessarily want to buy ice cream, particularly if it's summertime and you have a long drive home. If it's already soft and it's really squishy, I wouldn't buy that ice cream. I would wait and get it from a different part of the freezer, check other locations, get other products, maybe the back of the freezer, and get the actually hard ice cream so that you can make it home without damaging the product. Once the air comes out of ice cream and it's melted, you can't get it to go back in there. That's why it's important to keep the top on when you're at home on firm, so you don't have the ice crystals. Also, put it in the back of the freezer. Don't leave it in the door, and put it on the bottom and the back of the freezer at home to keep it frozen. And anyway, I hope this has been fun, me sharing with you some of my tips and insights on supermarket business. And I'll share one more. The last one was, he was curious about rotisserie chicken. Does a chicken salad include rotisserie chicken? And I say, yeah, absolutely it does. Some locations absolutely make their own chicken salad with the leftover rotisserie chickens. As a matter of fact, I worked on a project and we sold 50,000 pounds of chicken salad from one retail location in 1 year. And that's going to end it for me. If you've enjoyed this or have any thoughts or comments on the different areas, please leave them below. If you're curious about Ed's actual questions, you can go and check out his blog over there at Ambrose Landon, his ambroselandon.com, his consulting agency. And thanks for joining us. If you have a innovative or outstanding food product that you would like to talk about, jump on my calendar at timforrestmarkets.com. Love to talk to you. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.